high school and middle school and elementary school, I've had many different teachers. Throughout my years, all the teachers have had their own style of teaching, but all the methods were very similar, strictly sticking to textbook learning. Because of this, the teaching, I had grown habits. These habits were staying up late, doing homework, or studying for tests, memorizing the information that was given to me. Because of this, I was stressed out for school, and whenever I came to school, I would be worried, and if I had a test, I would be worried that day because I felt as if I knew the information, but when I went into a test, I never felt as if I was confident and knew that I would do well on the test. Days where I felt as if I was going to do really well on a test, I usually came back getting a worse grade than I thought I would get. And days where I felt I was going to do really bad or stressed out more than usual, I did better than I thought I would do. So the grading scales were always very iffy for me, and I was not really positive on what was happening. I didn't like this about PIP because this traditional way of teaching made me iffy on what the grades I would get were going to be. So I was being tested on what I was memorizing, not really what I was understanding, because I would move from topic to topic so quickly. So going into high school, I was really stressing out because I thought that I would be given more work and have to stress out even more during school, stay up having later nights, and have even bigger tests and have more loads of homework. But then I was introduced to MPX, which was this new style of teaching or a new course for school, and it was project-based learning, and it used real world incorporated into our classes. So I thought I would change things up and try it. So in the beginning of MPX, we were introduced to sustainability, and things were kind of confusing to me at first because I didn't really understand the direction that the teachers were presenting to us. So at first, I had some failures. So an example of a failure would be the infographics. As you can see, one of my first infographics were very confusing. I thought it was good at the time, but it didn't really make any sense. You can't understand what's going on in it. And then throughout the year, I got to slowly get a better understanding of what infographics were, and I got to improve my infographics, make them more aesthetically pleasing, use keywords that would help to make the infographics more understandable and push across the message that I wanted to. So around the middle of the year, I was beginning to get a lot more comfortable with this new style of learning. I was adjusting to the new styles, and the quality of work I was producing was much greater. A project which I think really shows how I was improving during the year would be my Iliad Kickstarter page. I think this shows how I improved because during it, I never really felt like I was working because I was having fun and I didn't understand why. But I think it was because during this time I was really gaining a passion towards my work, and just because it didn't feel like work didn't mean that I was learning or anything. I put 110% effort into my Iliad Kickstarter page, and I used all the time that was given to me to work on it. So I even finished one day early, and after that, I got a good grade. I like this because it was a new style of grading. It's for MPX, you're graded based off of the amount of effort you put into your work. So if you put in a lot of effort, and then you know it will reflect on your grade. If you don't put in any effort, you slack off, waste your time, then you know your grade isn't going to be that pleasing to you or be that good. So I liked that because it lifted a huge weight off my shoulders and it didn't make me stress out as much as usual. So a project that I think really shows my progression throughout the whole year would be the aquaponics project. We began the project in the beginning of the year with just discussing aquaponics, going on a few field trips, and just learning what it was about. So I didn't really think it was going to be any big thing at first. But then we slowly began to continue doing things for it. So we got to design a prototype. Then we actually began constructing our very own model. This is when I began to actually see how real and how different this project was than any other project I've ever done before. So it made me feel a lot more successful than I've ever felt in other projects that I've done before because of how real it was to actually put water and fish and all the gravel and stuff into our fish tank and grow bed and see it run and eventually start growing things was really cool, and I never thought that would happen. Then we eventually got to move on and go to a Shark Tank-like business plan pitch. So we pitched our product that we created in our groups to actual businessmen who were investors, and it was very real-world like situations. So instead of taking a huge test on it, we actually got to take our test away by proving what we've learned by presenting, rather than writing things down and memorizing facts. Even after we didn't win the Shark Tank thing, I still had a passion for the project. I think this is because how the process was very detailed and lengthy that the MPX program took us through. It was so that after the project ended, we didn't want to stop it. We wanted to continue to make our failure even greater and push further. So from the beginning of the year till now, I think I transformed a lot because I used to be really stressed, and now I'm stress-free, and I retain the information that I learned, and I don't just memorize work. I actually get a full understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How long is that?
7:37.
What the?
Okay, questions. Questions. Question. Question.
Oh,
Questions.
do you have any bad work in your burger that you wanted to show, like your transformation?
Average for Burger would have been the first time we worked on an essay, which would probably be the Rwanda or even the Iliad essay for me, because I still needed to do improvements for those essays and work up to even target and pass target.
What did you struggle with the most in the MPX program? For you?
I struggled with the most with trying to maybe make my things better than I thought they could be, or work harder than just reaching the target letters.
Okay, one more question. I saw a lot of you work really hard on your aquaponics project, across the board. I mean, but what aspect of the aquaponics project made you work as hard as you did?
The aspect was, I used to be my role in the aquaponics project. So my role was taking all the pictures and videos and working on kind of helping Tyler with the sales. So I did the social media stuff, but also when Tyler, Ali, and Vicky were constructing the actual model, that helped me to get pushed even further and want to make my side better.
Question? Some of you aren't asking any questions so far. Marshall.
Marshall, trying to like go through your shirt properly right now. Where's your grade to get?
I don't even know what it is right now. Do you know?
A
A plus plus.
Besides the aquaponics project, what was your proudest moment?
And about the park project, I think it would be maybe the word of it, because it was another example of how we actually made something that we actually got to see work after a while.
What was your most proud moment in the aquaponics project? Like, when did you really feel success in aquaponics?
My most proud moment would be when we finally finished our tank and there was no leaks and we got to start running it, and especially when we put the plants in it and they grew after just a little amount of time.
So, how's your aquaponics doing now?
It's doing good.
You think you're gonna get invested now?
Maybe, maybe not. We will see.
Yeah, Marshall.
Your winning team? I think you are.